saying meow. God damn it, I said it.
You technically did.
Let me fix my webcam there. Good. Yeah, so. Hey. What's up, Steph? How you doing?
I love that I'm the one where you bring in the cat ears.
Listen, there's a story behind this. There's a story behind everything. It's not like I chose to do this, okay? So.
Alright, hit me.
Yep. It all happened today in like, what, a span of 5 minutes where my little sister came home from the mall and she's like, hey, Ethan, do you want your Christmas present now or later? Oh, no, let me scratch that. When do you stream? I said today. So she's like, okay, I'll give it to you now. So I go into her room. She says, close your eyes. I close my eyes. She says, put 2 hands out. So I put both my hands out and I get 2 things on my hand. One thing, this curse stuff right here. And the second thing, this. The, what, speed energy drink from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hell yeah.
So now, you know, it's a gift. I have to be nice. And she said, you better put it on stream. I can't say no to my own sibling. So now this is the thing.
Perks of being an older brother.
I hate my
oldest.
I hate everything. I want to cry. I want to vomit. I really hope no one walks into my room while I have these on. Mostly my parents. They're going to question me, and I'm going to have to hold my ground and just probably cry a little bit.
I mean, you just tell them, you know, Ivory got it for you, and, like, you know, go from there.
Yeah, but you know what's the one thing I hate the most with this thing on? Mostly with my my headphones. These things aren't even straight. So let me show you something that I hate with a passion. Let me just put these back. So like let's say if I just wanted to like readjust my headphones. Let me readjust this. So it's if I want to readjust my headphones. I hate this.
The ears flap.
I hate that it flaps when I have to readjust my. No, Exit, stop. I am not. This is a special moment. This is a
okay. Think about it this way. She didn't say how long you had to wear it, did you? So you could technically take it off soon.
She said the whole stream.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I try to find a loophole for you.
I appreciate it a lot. I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Just don't look at yourself. Just focus on the VTuber's mouth moving.
True.
Because that's the only thing that's gonna be moving from my model because my webcam and its tracking isn't the best.
All right. So.
But I really like the model. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's a really nice model. You said that I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier too, but you said it was like a recent model that you got, and your friend helped you out a lot with it. So I was just kind of wondering, like, what made you think of like the VTuber stuff all of a sudden? Because I know VTuber is pretty big right now. A lot of VTubers, and it's
that's
really
basically it.
I got
it. Is that so my main like college group got into VTubers, most of them. And then I kind of like watched a little bit here and there, and then someone in that group was like, "Oh yeah, I am like making a model for someone," and I was like, "Oh cool, would you want to make a 2 for me?"
Mm-hmm.
And then so I told him to prioritize my D&D model first, just because you know like I wanted to put her in, and then that's when like he worked on this model, which is pretty dang close to how I envisioned May Yuki, so you know I'm pretty happy with it.
Oh, nice. So, I mean, the one thing that's I've always questioned too, and you just brought it up was, even for me, we've known each other forever. I never asked you how did you come up with May Yuki as a username?
Here it is, the embarrassing, almost 15-year-old story. Yeah, 15.
Oh, well, that's a while back.
So it started with Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Zuko's ex, I guess, from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the girl with like the knives and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I had a friend in elementary school who was like super into acting. So like we would just like come up with like these crazy ideas to like act out during like recess and lunch. And I for some reason the word "my" didn't stick with me, so I went with May at some point. And then here's the embarrassing part afterwards. I started writing a lot of like fan fiction, around like 5th, 6th grade to most of my high school years, like all the way there, and a little bit of college. And I had this crazy ass like OC insert for Naruto because that was like super popular during my time.
Oh yeah.
God, I sound old.
Was it the Facebook game? Was it the Naruto Facebook game?
No, it was just
It wasn't?
Naruto was airing on Cartoon Network. So I was like, man, how would like this character that I like work in this world? And then my brain went into, okay, now make it like they're in school. And then so I was like, okay, I started out with just the name May for the self-insert, and then I had this stupid plot twist with one of the characters, and so I looked up this one character. It was not Naruto related, but it had the same name, and then that person had the last name Yuki. So I was like, okay, let's do May Yuki. So that name has been a part of me since like 6th grade, I want to say.
Oh man, that's a long time coming. Holy crap.
And then you know, like that was more personal. I didn't like tell the world about it. Like I went through the entirety of middle school without like disclosing it. And then sophomore year of high school, there was something that I wanted to keep tabs on Facebook because I didn't have a Facebook. So I made one, but I was like, for whatever reason, 14, 15-year-old Steph was like, I don't want people to know that it's me, but I still want them to know it's me. So I made the Facebook with the fake name May Yuki. And so the majority of the people who knew me or had me on Facebook knew me as May Yuki, to the point that like some people, they don't even know like my real name is Steph. Like I don't know if he's in stream, but I have a friend a college friend, Hayden. He actually thought my name was May Yuki until like I met him in person, and he's like, "Wait, your name's actually Steph?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
So I also have a funny story that continues onto that. So because I mean, like you use the name on Facebook and everything too, correct? Like May.
Yeah.
So my parents were on my Facebook, and it was when you just added me. And they're like, "Hey Ethan, one of your friends, May Yuki, wants to add you. Is she Japanese?" And I looked, I'm like, "Oh, no." And they're like, "Oh, that's like," they're like, they're just kind of like, "Yeah, that's kind of weird." But I was like, "It's cool." It was kind of weird trying to like, teenager me trying to explain to my parents the usernames who their whole life it's like when Facebook came up, you just use your normal names. But now that we have Twitch, we have Instagram, Snapchat, hell, even Facebook. Yeah, just so many different usernames in it and everything. So it's just like the concept of just trying to like explain to my parents without sounding cringy about like usernames and stuff. Because for me, I've always been either like Ethan Pang, or people say Fang or Fang Lee. So it's always been the norm for me, but I've always understood the concept of usernames. But so it's never bothered my parents. But just the more they started seeing different usernames, they would always come up to me and be like, "Why is this person named this? Aren't they using their real name and stuff?" And I had to just explain, no, because some people don't want to use their real names because they don't want to be doxxed. Some people,
yeah,
just the whole internet ordeal. But man, what, since middle school for May Yuki?
I'd say 5th grade is a pretty 5th, 6th grade would be a pretty good like point when May Yuki became quote unquote whole, because up until then it was just May. Like this character, this self-insert was just May.
Okay. And hold on one second. I have to do a thing. I'm gonna hate doing this.
I know, I see it.
Let me just Nyan Uwu. I hate myself. Oh, God, I hate myself. Oh, dude, that Why? Why, dude? It's like you say it, and it's just that other flow of regret kicking in. It's like being chomped on by a chain chomp in Mario. It just hurts. It hurts so much. I hate all of it. I don't. This is a curse. This is a curse. I'm sorry, Steph. I'm sorry that I brought you into this.
At least it's me, like I've gotten used to it over the years.
Yeah, but for sure,
Everyone's like, who the heck is this guy? And then I was like, yeah, this I've known this guy for 7 years.
Yep.
8 years.
God, it's been a while. Yeah, it's what, was it freshman year of high school?
Yeah,
was when we met?
because you joined the tennis team with like Aaron and everyone else. That's when I met like Dan and everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it was, yeah, we did tennis, and then it was sophomore year. It was before sophomore year was when we did the summer practice, right? And that's when we started actually talking a little bit more. Was during during the summer practice. With,
Yeah, because boys were always like before the girls, so like I would always come early and like hang out and just watch y'all.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though. That was pretty fun. But I'll be honest, there's just a thing where it's just, I feel like the boys tennis just got too competitive over time. That's why I was like, eh. But it was always pretty fun. I can't believe you are asking
No,
that.
I know what it is.
No,
I know what
fair,
it is.
Fair enough. But yeah, disregarding the time, like our time in high school, it's just crazy that we've known each other for such a long time and everything.
Tommy's right though. That's why the boys tennis team was the best.
But yeah, it had a lot of fun times. But man, I don't think Tommy wasn't there until like I think my senior year, if I'm correct. But
Tommy is a year younger than you.
Yeah. So actually no, then he was there when I was in JV. Yeah, he was there when I was in JV. So yeah, he got the blunt end of the amount of the competitiveness in it, where it's free for all pretty much. Everyone, it's pretty much if you die, you die, kind of ordeal. But it was a good sport though. I enjoyed it. I haven't played it in a while, so if I probably played against you, you probably kick my butt.
I mean, I haven't played in a long time either, since like 2017.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no, I helped Brian on a project in like early 2018, so three years, I guess.
I got you.
I'm gonna get like super technical.
Oh yeah. So, I just have we've known each other for so long, but I didn't find out until like maybe like a few years ago that you were actually into D&D as well. And God forbids me, I forgot how we started talking about D&D.
That is a good question. How did you and I specifically? So, because like I know how I got my start. So I played Collegiate League of Legends for Long Beach, and our team, quote unquote, manager, coach at the time, started talking about D&D, I think, in our chat, and I was just curious about it, and like a couple other people in that chat, like basically my teammates, were also interested. And then he was like, oh yeah, I have a friend who DMs, I can like talk to him and like get us started, and that pretty much like started it all. Like I want to say like that was like January-ish, and then we created our characters February 2019, and our first session was like the end of that month.
Oh, okay. Man, so you I don't know who started. I need to check my Roll20 when I created my account, because when I created my account was when I first started D&D, or I guess creating the world that the oddities are in right now. I've been a member. Oh,
I can probably like pull up when I created it. It was so February 4th, 2019 was like my first foray into Dungeons and Dragons, like officially, I guess.
Yeah, because I think you did start first then, because I was on Roll20. I've been a member since March 20th of 2018.
So then it's a year before. You were on it like a year before, and then I think what happened was, I think Divya and the others were interested, and then you hung out with us a lot in the server in my server at the time. So we were over the time we were just sort of making characters, but we never like followed through.
Yeah.
And then I started telling the oddities about D&D and like my adventures, because you know, like Joyce drew a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think like that got them interested, and then I think it just like a lot of things just lined up of people just saying, oh yeah, I can do this, I'm interested in that, and then I was like, oh, I can put you guys together and see what happens.
I got you. That's pretty cool though. It's funny how D&D brings so many people together all of a sudden. And it's like, I don't know, because that was when I was that was kind of like the moment where I kind of stopped. We stopped talking for a little bit, and then I'm still so stumped. Like it bothers me now. When did we start talking about D&D? It's gonna haunt me until like 1 in the morning when I just wake up in cold sweat and be like, that's what happened.
When did Fates Intervene start? No, you started with like Tizzy and crew first, then you guys went into the oddities.
Yeah, it was Fates Intervene with Tizzy, Eggsy, and our other buddy Compound Killer, and then we finished season 1, or AKA I got super busy with life, and we just kind of stopped from there. And I guess that's when you brought it up that, hey, I heard that you do D&D. I think you've seen one or two of my streams when I was streaming D&D at the time.
Yeah, I think that you saw me talk about it, and then you're like, oh yeah, I've been doing it too. I think I know one other thing that started it, but I'll say it like off stream because like that's between us. But I just went through my games, and you started with the oddities August 2019.
Oh my god, that was a whole 2 years ago.
And then that was like their test run, and then you guys got into you know, like your world and the oddities and everything. Yeah,
because I think the test run was the Persona style one I had. The one shot that it took me like like almost 2 months to create, just to modify all of the certain spells and everything. It was not a fun time. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, what's up?
That was also during like my character's story arc, because I didn't give you any information beyond like, oh yeah, she's looking for her sister, and you just like went with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's how I remember it. It's like that was before my sister was rescued in our world.
I see. Yeah, that part I definitely remember. It was when you were talking about that while you were because you pretty much used your character from the campaign that you're part of, while everyone else was making their own characters. And god, dude, that I had so much fun with you guys on that Persona one shot we did. It was the first time too where I realized this is going to be a very chaotic group.
I still remember Kenny was like, I want to lick this substance. I don't care if it's toxic or not. I want to try and lick whatever this substance is. I'm like, oh god.
My boy didn't even lick it, dude. He drank like a good cup of it.
Oh yeah, he drank it. I remember now.
Yep. It was like, god, if I remember correctly, it was like sheer grease that he drank, because he thought it was coffee. And then I'm just like, nope, that's grease. You just drank grease. That's disgusting. And now you're like poisoned.
Yep.
But yep, because it was the concept where I had it where if you guys stayed too long, kind of like in Persona 3 and 4, when you stay too long in a floor, the Reaper comes out.
The Reaper.
So you guys took your sweet time, and I was like, well, timer's up. Time to drop the Reaper. It was green news?
Speaking of the Reaper, I almost ran into the Reaper last night. I was dungeon crawling on Persona 4 on Steam.
Oh, dude. I can't... It's so nice that they brought it onto Steam. Did you hear about the fighting game that got announced too?
Yep.
It's... Oh, dude.
I'm just waiting for Persona 5 to get ported now.
Honestly, because I think they're thinking about Remaster. It's just a rumor right now. Don't hold me I'm not condoning this. I'm not confirming this. But there's a rumor that Persona 3 Portable is having a remaster.
Oh yeah, I saw it too. I saw a friend like tweet about it too.
So that's I'm excited. If that happens, that'll be so nice, because everyone wants to play as the main character, but either the boy or the or like the female or male protagonist, pretty much, because each of them has such big different stories, even though it's
I just like the
same
design of
outcomes.
the girl too.
It is the fem with the with her Orpheus is so nice. I like it better than the male MCs. Orpheus.
I
Like
still never
rendition.
played 3, and then like last night when I was playing 4, you could definitely feel how dated like the gameplay and style was compared to like 5. I'd
Oh
say.
yeah, because it took like forever for 5 to come out. Like, God, didn't I know that they announced the teaser for it like in the early 2010, like in 2010, like the early 2010, like 2013, 2014 was when they're like, here's a teaser like picture, and then all of a
Of the,
sudden,
like the prison chair or
yeah,
something. I
yep,
remember.
yep, the chairs with the chain on it, and then all of a sudden, I don't even think the game came out yet, but they had a Mementos mission anime
Mm-hmm.
that aired, and then the game came out, and it was just everyone lost it.
Oh,
Like even for
geez.
me, I pre-ordered that stuff, the special edition, just to get the box and everything and the soundtrack in it. And dude, when spring break kicked in, that I spent my whole break locked in my room playing the game.
I remember.
That's how addicted I was.
Yeah, it was like 8 years between the original Persona 4 and Persona 5 releasing. Persona
Yeah.
4 original release 2008, and then 5 released in 2016, and then there
Mhm.
was Persona 4 Golden in 2012, which is the one that I personally like.
Yeah. Before Golden was such a good like, it was just a good like change
This
in
good
everything.
update, good mini update for
Mhm.
I'd say.
Yeah, because what it added like a whole extra, kind of like five. I mean, like P4G came first, and then P5 Royale.
Yeah.
But they did the same thing in P5 Royale, like they did in P4G, where they added like what 5 to 10 extra hours of gameplay to it, which was so
Yeah,
nice. I loved it.
I still wish that they had done something with Mishima and Hifumi in
Yeah.
5 rather than making a new character, because I know I heard rumors and
Mhm.
like work that was done on both of those characters of them becoming actual like Phantom Thieves. Like, God,
Yeah.
I wanted to really see Hifumi as a Phantom Thief.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, same thing for Mishima. Like Mishima was such, he was like the whole time he was our good boy. He was the good boy where he just wanted to he wanted to do his best and just try to help out.
Yeah.
So like I had so like he was one of my favorite confidants. It was that, and gotta go to my girl Makoto.
Yes.
Mishima would have been
Always.
so awesome, but yeah, dude, Makoto. I think that was the funniest thing that for us, like we actually fanned about and we like as friends bonded over was just the Makoto fandom and
Yeah.
everything. I think that was the icing on the cake for our friendship. Was just, hey, you play Persona? I love Persona. You play 4? Sweet. Who's your waifu? Yukiko.
Yeah, and then Naoto was introduced, and I was like, I'm sorry, Ethan. Naoto is the one that I like.
Yep. Naoto
And
was
then,
pretty cool.
like
Though.
that's how I just remember that you guys share the same birthday.
Oh yeah, dude. Now it's crazy that Naoto and I actually share the same birthday. When you showed it to me, I'm like, there's no way. There's just no way.
And then Makoto, I think, is like a couple weeks after.
Oh yeah,
think.
it was wild. But somewhere in my room, I have a lot of my art put away, but I still have the birthday drawing you did for
Oh
me.
gosh, my
of
my
Yukiko.
really bad drawing of.
I still have it somewhere in like it's in a box that I keep all of my old like I used because conventions we always want to support our fellow artist and
Yeah.
everything. So I have a box that I just put a lot of them in there, and then
Mhm.
I kept that one that you made me because I'm just like I can't it's Yukiko. I can't
Yeah,
can't
I
diss
don't know
my
why. I was just like in a
diss my girl like
drawing
that.
mood around that time, and I just like drew a
Mhm.
bunch of like characters that people liked, and they're not
Yeah.
even like fancy art. It's literally just sketches of like already released art of people.
Yeah, in the end, it's still pretty good art. That's what I say. Like I definitely liked it. I mean, hell, I still have it. That's the thing. But man, dude, I love that series. That series, Persona brought a lot of people together. It brought a whole fandom together. Then again, there's the good side of the fandom, and then there's the not so good side of the fandom, where there's just people that are the love conflicts.
That's
Yeah.
usually how it goes for like a lot
Yeah.
of things, though.
The waifu war, the husbando war. It really is like the My Hero Academia fandom in a way. Like, like I'll call myself a Persona fan. Like, I'm a fanboy. I love the series. I've watched all of them. I watched all of them. Sadly, I've watched 5D animation. They did that dirty. It's a shame.
I stopped watching it at some point. I think like right after Makoto's arc, I was just like, okay, it's not really my thing.
Yeah, they did it dirty. Like, compared to Persona 4, the animation where they nailed the coffin on that, it was so good. And then all of a sudden, boom, 5 kicked in, where the animations were better, but it was just missing its flair.
Because
the game had.
It was pretty much like an animated version of the game, which is fine, I guess. But at the same time, it doesn't like add more. Actually, no, it did add to the story. I still remember baby Makoto and her dad.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was a nice part right there.
But then I think it was like the stuff during Haru's arc that I was just not a fan of. Like, personally, it's good storytelling, but I just didn't like the whole conflict between Mona and Ryuji.
Yeah. It was hard. That part was hard in the game to go through too. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was like my least favorite part, but I kind of understood.
Yeah.
I kind of understand, like, it's for character development, and it was a way to introduce Haru into the group.
It's a different way to like deal with the issue too.
Yeah. So kudos to that, but again, not my favorite part. I respect everyone else's opinion if it was their favorite part in the game for character development.
Yeah.
But overall, dude. And then P5 Royale came out, and oh my gosh, dude, I spent so much more time on that game. Like, day one was I had it not pre-ordered, but day one for my birthday, one of my really good friends, he pre-ordered it for me and sent it to me like, towards my address, since he had it. So I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that he was gonna send it to me. But when the day the game came out, I get a knock on my door. It's a box that says happy birthday. I open it up. It's Persona 5 Royale, and then I just get a message from my good buddy Sky Mary, and he's just like, "Well, I hope you enjoy your gift, Ethan." And dude, I lost it. I was all like, "No way." That was crazy. And I spent many hours. I spent so many hours on that game. Like, it felt like the hard thing though was you can't transfer your save files. So
like from Persona 5?
Yeah, so you have to restart all your all of your skills and all
progress,
of your
yeah.
progress.
I think that's the hard part. Playing Persona 4 Golden right now is just starting out. It's just really painful because like they're figuring out like the murder mystery when you and I have sat here and gone through it like once or twice already. Oh
yeah, dude, it's crazy. And then it's just. I mean, okay, let's be honest. I played it all on the Vita. I'm pretty sure you played it all on the Vita too. How many hours have you clocked into P4 Golden?
At least 100.
Okay,
at least.
good.
Like, I'm already on 10 hours on the Steam version right now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're pretty much on the same page. The last time I checked, I was at like almost 200 hours on that game.
It's the grind.
It's the Sigma male grind set. It's just the buff Yu Narukami. But
oh yeah.
So, about Persona, you know how you can name your main character. What do you name it? Do you just name it like same thing, May Yuki, or do you name it like name the main character something else, or their actual name?
Well, I mean, because it's male, right? So May Yuki's not gonna fly. I think I started with a completely made up name. I think like my very first file, but I don't fully remember. And then Ethan also played it with me. And he had used Soji Seta, which is the Persona 4 anime name.
Oh yeah.
And I think right now the Steam version that I'm playing on is Yu Narukami, just because like it just feels weird to use like any other name. And I think I did the same thing for Gold or Persona 5, where like I just looked up like what his name is canonically and just put that, just because like it just feels better.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, same here. Because when I started too, I used my name. I used my middle name or my username, which is Fang, for it. But after watching the anime and stuff, I can't. I had to put their names now because it just won't feel right.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right.
But man, dude. Also, like the spin-offs, like Persona Q, Persona Q2, Arena. What else? What else was there? God, there's so many spin-offs. 4 lived forever.
Yeah, it really did. Like 2008 all the way until the game, or until 5 released, so it had almost a full decade of like use.
Yeah, and then
Ren or Akira.
Yeah, it's because
I know Ren Amamiya.
Yep, Ren Amamiya was the anime and the manga name, and then it was Akira was the game, the chronically original game name of the character, right?
Yeah, I forgot Ren was like the other name option.
It was.
I think I did
crazy.
Akira first.
Personally,
I don't have a preference. I just went with whatever name I saw first.
Yeah. Oh man, but love those games with a passion. But I mean, hey, it's good. It's a lot. It brought a lot of memories, and it helped. I'll be honest, that game helped so much with just talking to people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, given the opportunity, if I play a girl, I'm naming her May Yuki.
Oh, definitely. Like if you ever end up playing Persona 3 Portable, or if so, the remaster edition comes out, definitely. But oh, dude, okay. So one more question regarding the Persona series. What was your most favorite confidant interaction, though? Like one that will stay with you forever.
Persona 4 or 5?
Just out of all the games. Like,
dude, oh god, I barely remember because like it's just been so long since I've played them.
But yeah, but whichever one that comes in mind, because I know there's one for me that just is stuck with me.
I think the first one that came to mind, just because like it's fresher, is Naoto. Just because like she has to deal with like the whole JP viewing like men as like superior, and like she has to like navigate through that and stuff, and also find the joy of detective work again that like she had lost because of all of that.
Yeah, that's a good one though. Naoto's really was a good one. It was wild that the game tackled on that kind of stuff too, which lots of respect to that. Because oh man, that was a I think out of all the dungeons and the lore behind the dungeon stuff, I think hers was by far the most in-depth one. Rise being a close second. Kanji was just Kanji's, personally.
Kanji's was pretty deep too. Like once you get past all the gags and stuff, it's actually a pretty well told one. Rise took me until like I was older to understand its message of her being like she has a bunch of faces and she doesn't know which one's like the real her.
And it's the idol industry too that she had to go through and everything. So that's like
Yukiko felt like caged.
It's symbolic. And
then Chie and Yosuke's is still a little bit hard for me to grasp. I think like Chie's is just like, oh, she's taking advantage of Yukiko, but she doesn't want to admit it. And then Yosuke is like, oh yeah, I'm just really bored of this place, but I don't want to admit it.
Yeah, Yosuke was just kind of there. Like, I really wish they elaborated a little bit more on it, but him being the tutorial.
Yeah.
Low key, it kind of sucks.
And the stories got more in depth as we kind of like explored them in a way too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that 4, and a lot of people like 5 because that's when they were introduced to the series and it's their favorite. Though a lot of old OG people prefer 4 over 3, but for me personally, 3 was my favorite. P3, and because P3 had one social link that got me hard. It was pretty much she's a little girl that you meet at the shrine, and she's playing by herself. So you talk to her, she hurts herself, you help her and stuff, and then the more you just kind of go and spend time with her, she starts opening up to you, and she's like, oh, my parents are having are planning on getting divorced. I'm scared that I won't be able to see them, like any one of them again, and that like what's gonna happen to me, and just kind of help her through that process of just, it's okay, just keep on being yourself, stay strong for your mom and dad and stuff, and like just grow up and do what you want to do. And that part that hit me, like the ending of the social link. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I was on the verge of tears. I was just like, yo, this hits. it was that good for me for Persona 3. Oh man, like even thinking about it too, I got a little bit of just like, I got a little bit in the zone of just the feels. But it's so crazy how games like that can hit you in the feels, or like make you feel a certain way.
I mean, even D&D is hitting me in the feels.
Oh, true, dude. And but going back to the D&D stuff too. I always I've never had a proper time to ask you this, but what were some reasons behind creating your characters? Mostly the one that you're using right now.
Oh boy, that's a okay. So since I was a kid, my uncle played a lot of like these RTSs, real-time strategy games. And there was this one game that's like super old called Heroes of Might and Magic 5.
Oh my god, that's an old one.
I really liked the Sylvan faction of that game. So like elves, pixies, like the forest people, right?
Yeah.
And then they had this small like strategy spin-off that you can actually find on Steam if you're interested, where called Clash of Heroes. Like you can finish it in a day, like 2 hours tops, I think, if you're speedrunning it. And the main character that starts off for that story was a girl named Anwin, whatever. And I was just like, I wouldn't say like the story was super like compelling or anything, but so just like remember that, right? Like that the character starting off was named Anwin.
Yeah.
And then when we were making D&D characters, I went with the stereotype of I want to be an elf. All right. I was like, okay, I'm not really vibing with high elves. I'm not really vibing with wood elves, but dark elves, the edge. No, I'm kidding.
The edge.
I was like, I don't know. I was just like interested in like the dark elves and their story, I guess, in the book when I was looking at it. And then it was between me and my boyfriend, or at the time we weren't dating yet. So at that time it was like another party member. He and I were both kind of like ranger or rogue, and I don't know if we flipped a coin or what, but I was like, but he picked rogue, and I was like, okay, I'll go ranger. So I went with the dark elf ranger. It had nothing to do with me wanting to replicate the famous dark elf ranger in D&D lore that is Gratz, you know?
Oh yeah, oh dude, oh, it's like
I didn't know who the heck that was. I was just more interested in being a dark elf ranger, and then my story at the time was just like, okay, so my GM told me not to worry about like the personality, ideals, bonds, and stuff that are in the book. Just like come up with my own thing. But I was just like, I don't know what I want to do. So I went with it. And there was one thing, I think it was like in the bonds section, that said, I was in fact raised by wolves. And I went with that, and then I built a story around that, which was my village, my dark elf home, got attacked, leaving me an orphan in a way, right? Like my parents were killed, my sister and I were separated. I was just like, let's give her a sister. And like after the attack, I got separated from my sister, and these wolves took me in. And then now, a whole century later, I'm trying to find my sister again. And so that's what happened. And then, like I said, for the name, I literally just took Onwin's name.
you just like,
And then,
you see this name? It's mine now, and you just kind of grab it and you just drag it over.
and then
No.
I'm pretty sure Solana was also, let me see, Heroes of Might and Magic. I think Solana was just like something that was like part of Heroes of Might and Magic.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was one of the dragon gods. And okay, like I'm literally pulling this from their freaking wiki. Solana is one of the dragon gods of the world and patron deity of the elves in that world. So it's literally a combination of, you know, one of the Heroes of Might and Magic's character and their actual like freaking deity in the game, and just I put them together, and I've been on with Solana for the last 2 years. Once a week.
Once a week. Well, was it always just once a week, or did you guys have like more sessions throughout the week before?
We always had a session a week. That way, like our DM Brian would have time to get through his stuff. And you know, like once in a while we have to sidetrack, like do mini stories, mini one shots, mini campaigns, like, or even take a break. So like, we split it up into 3 seasons without really meaning to. It's just like how it ended up. So season 1 was level 1 to like 13, with us like, well, first like getting used to Dungeons and Dragons as a whole, and then like slowly immersing ourselves into the story that he created and stuff. That was February 2019 all the way to like August 2020. And then we took a little bit of a break, let one of our group mates run a mini campaign, which kind of led into season 2, in that like my character just coincidentally fit into the world a little bit more. And then season 2 was like, I wanna say December-ish.
Around December.
I mean, I can even pull up my D&D notes right now. December 2020 was when we did it, I think. Let me see. What was our first session? Oh, November 22nd, 2020 was when we started season 2.
Gosh.
And that ran for about a year. We finished season 2 in October, like a week or 2 before my birthday.
Nice.
And then we've been on a break since, and then season 3 is expected to start January 8th of next year.
That's exciting for season 3.
I know there is a lot happening starting out already that I cannot say on stream, just in case my party members are watching, or my DM, because my DM's gonna execute me probably.
It's just gonna be like, all right, bring Steph to the guillotine, bring Onwin with her, just gone. Trust me, that's how it's like too with a lot of my players and me. I'll tell some people this might happen, but I just want to make sure. Hey, listen, if you tell anyone, I will off your character. You know, just
like,
because you don't keep a promise.
It just makes sense too. Like some of the stuff that I know that's happening is that I can't tell, because like it ruins the surprise factor. You know.
Exactly. Because some characters, like definitely some characters, they need to know because it runs off of their story, and you just want to make sure, hey, is this fine if I modify a little bit like that? Like the funniest thing was with Tiz's character's backstory and how I brought that in. I was like, okay, I just want to make sure that this is good, and this is good, but do not tell the other players. I will, in my own accord, I'll end Roy. Yeah, whether you like it or not. But it ended up being a great time, mostly for character lore is so nice to have in the game.
Yeah, like I actually just told Brian, like, yeah, my sister and I got separated. I basically gave him free reign to do whatever he wanted in the century split between the two, and like, honest to Buddha, he did a damn good job like developing her. Like, oh my god, when he introduced her character art that Joyce drew, I was like, god damn.
Yeah, boy, that's good stuff.
And then when Arcane released last month, he actually DM'd me privately, and he said something like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually your sister was actually based off of Vi." I was like, you could not have said anything better to me. Literally, my favorite lead character is the model for my older sister in D&D, and like it makes sense because cool. they look pretty similar too. Like I can actually here I'll send you a picture of Kai.
Yeah,
if I can find it.
And I'll definitely see if we can bring it up for the chat to see as well.
Yeah,
but can we say hands down to Joyce for making so much artwork though? Even for me with the oddities, her little doodles are hilarious. Like holy crap.
Joyce is our official unofficial artist for the group.
Nice. It's not just Joyce for the oddities, it's the whole darn crew, dude. They're just all artists in some way.
Yeah.
So it's wild. All right, so let me open this link, and then I think I know how. Let me see how I'm gonna do. Chat can see. So you guys are gonna see a little bit of a transition going on. There we go. Okay. Sweet, and then let me pull up this. There, guys. There we go. Okay, I think we're here now. So yeah, this is the artwork of Kai, and then if you want the stuff, you can go on a little bit detail on it. So the chat kind of has an idea, in a way.
So yeah, that's basically it. I didn't like give him any details about her. I just told him that it's they were separated for a century, and we're gonna you pretty much decide what happens to her. And he went with, she is a rough and tumble, like, close quarter combat type of gal, and which is the opposite of my character, which is like, hiding in the shadows, shooting arrows or crossbow bolts now, like at enemies. She's the one that would like dip in and out of the shadows to like punch people and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's crazy though. Like it really is just Vi, but in D&D, which is awesome. Back here?
Yeah, like she's just missing the gauntlets. And
it's season 1 Arcane Vi, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, like that's what we were saying. That's what I told him. I was like, well, good thing I didn't go crazy like Jinx.
Yep. And you didn't get the good bean juice in you, right? Like how Kenny's character wanted that bean juice in him.
I told him, I told my DM, I was like, I had the wolves instead of Stilko, and he's like, and your sister saved your life instead of hating you before leaving, and you didn't accidentally kill your childhood friends, and you didn't lose your adoptive parent.
Wait, hold up. I think some people have not seen Arcane yet. Let's try not to spoil it for people.
Oh, well, everyone just dies in Arcane. Okay.
Yeah. I want to make sure that everything is clean, but of course, Arcane is it's so good. It was worth the watch. I binged the whole thing. I didn't watch anything until it finished. And then one whole day with me and my little brother, we just watched the whole damn thing, and it was just like, I'm like, boom, mind blown. This is so good. I'm hyped for
Justin and I would watch it like the next day, just because like it releases at 12 in the morning, and I was just like, bro.
Yeah, it really was, as Pizza Dog said. So it's like Arcane, chef's kiss. It was so good. It was the icing on the cake. It was a feels good, but also kind of bad.
One other thing about the D&D stuff is that it is homebrew. Like the stuff that my friends and I are playing, it's homebrew. So like the Dark Elf lore is very different from what is in the books.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean homebrew is the best brew. I'm gonna be real too there. I love homebrew.
Which is why like I can't really say much about them. Or about my sister and I and like what's happening. But like if you're a D&D enthusiast and you know about like the D&D or the Dark Elf stuff in canon, don't expect that to be the same for us, I guess, is like the best way to put it. Like it is nothing like that.
Oh, definitely. That's why it makes me more excited. Mostly when your DM Brian comes up with so much homebrew stuff, and then you just sometimes I do lurk a little bit in your streams, and it's just hearing him DM is very pleasing. Like he's such a good DM. Just sitting
He's
and listening
really
to him tell
good,
the story and stuff. That's why I really take a lot of the stuff I do with the oddities. I take a lot from just listening to how Brian describes things, how he runs the story. I take a lot of notes, and I kind of not copy, but just kind of try to be as good as a DM, like he does it and stuff. So that's
I'll let
really
him
nice.
know. He'd probably appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, he's such a good DM. Just sitting in there, listening to how he explains the story, it's just hilarious hearing what the heck you guys choose to do and whatnot. Mostly with the Okay, can we just bring up the very beginning of what happened to you and your team? I still remember it. It's the funniest thing that's ever happened. It was
Okay.
You tell it.
y'all strap on in for this. Okay, I'll just preface with this. Literally the first session, right? February 20-something, 2019. Halfway through, we almost got TPK'd by our party member. I'll just preface with that and just let that sink in for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh my.
So level 1, everyone under 15 HP. We almost got TPK'd, not by goblins, but by our own party member. Alright, so what happened was Andrew, who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! The Gnome, half-elf wild magic sorcerer. Wild magic, alright? If y'all know your wild magic table, y'all probably know how this is happening. Me, no knowledge of D&D. I don't know what he's doing, but he rolls a D100 after casting a spell or something. He rolls a 7. No one in the group understands what's happening except for Brian and Andrew himself. And then Brian's like, oh no, I need everyone to roll me a dexterity saving throw. And I was like, huh? What's happening? And then they reveal he rolled fireball on the wild magic table. And Andrew rolls a 6d8 on us, and I think he rolled 20 something damage.
And this was all you guys level 1, right?
This was all us level 1. We had just finished fighting some goblins, and we all gathered around. Andrew casted a spell or something, and we just got absolutely blasted. So, oh my god, it is at 100 views on my channel. Do I have permission to link the clip?
Yeah, by all means. Link it. People need to know what the heck happened. Yep, they just started.
It's very well titled too, thanks to my friend who was watching it at the time.
Oh yeah. So yeah, guys, if you want to check out that clip and just see the chaos ensue, that's something that's it's just those times where you're like, I was there, I saw it, it was the funniest thing that's ever happened. Because
it's really funny, yeah.
I was studying. I had it open on the side, I was just studying, and all I hear is, oh no. And then I tuned in, it was just the fireball incident. I was like, well, hey, they're dead.
It's actually really funny is that a lot of our early adventures came down to really funny rolls. Mm-hmm. Around the time, a lot of funny or very awkward rolls or saying something that we should not have. Mm-hmm. So just to continue on the mishaps or shenanigans of us when we first started, about a month or two later, we had just entered the capital of the continent that we were on, of that mm-hmm. Zardom, as he called it. Yeah. And we had to produce papers and say our names so they could verify, because tight security and stuff. Me being the paranoid person that I am, I just didn't feel comfortable saying my name, right? Mm-hmm. So I say my sister's name, Kai Solana. The guard pauses and then looks to the other guards around him and says, arrest her.
Oh,
pandemonium in our group. We're like, what is going on? What is happening? Why is Anwen getting arrested? And then that's when I learned, what the fuck did Kai do in the century we were apart?
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
it's just so funny because just you can tell that behind the DM's cover, Brian probably just had the biggest smile on his face when you brought that name up, or the most terrified look on his face. It's like one or the other. Just
It
like,
was pretty funny because I rewatched the VOD at the time, and like this
yeah.
might just be false memories like implanted on me, but like I could have sworn he did like kind of an inhale of some kind when he heard me say that name.
Yeah.
And but either way, you know, like I simply like sped the story forward a little bit more.
Mhm.
Long story short is that Kai works for an organization within Sveningrad, known as the Queen's Murder, and she had gotten arrested for assaulting someone who was involved with our family's death in the village raid.
Mhm.
The person that she attacked also happens to be dating the princess of the Tsardom.
Oh boy.
So I believe the story was that the princess stepped in to stop her, and you know, long story short, Kai probably lashed out on Katarina, and you know, the guards took that as pretty bad, and so they arrested her.
Well, sounds like a fun time for me. Right there. Oh man, but
And
that's crazy.
yeah, and then I got released from prison like the next session because, you know, Katarina herself came in to identify me as like, that's not Kai. And I met the people that took in Kai, and we had to do a mission for them, which involved going to the Feywild, I believe.
Oh, Godspeed there.
To get some tea leaves, and things were running decently, and you know, like there was an issue, but you know, like we were like, okay, we're gonna help you with this problem once we get Kai out of prison. We take a mask off of an archfey who was dying, and by a party member, Lawrence Strange, a half-elf bard, takes it, holds on to it. We escape the Feywild. And then Brian tells Anthony, or Lawrence, to make the infamous wisdom saving throw. He rolls a 3.
Seems normal, that's normal.
Brian's immediate response was, oh no.
A typical DM response, I respect that.
And next thing you know, we had a whole session where we were escaping the Feywild as it was being overrun by devils, where we fought the Archfey's brother who had a pact with the devil. And, you know, like, Feywild timeline gets a little fucky-wucky, so we had to, we lost, like, I think 3 months?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and then
3 months is not bad, actually, if you think about it, compared to like other stories of like years.
Yeah. And then we proved our allegiance, I guess, to the Crow and the Queen's Murder. And then this is like my favorite part. Brian was like, all right, now that we can trust you, I have this spell scroll that will let you enter the mind of someone. And I was like, oh my god, is this going where I think it's going? And then he explains it further that, you know, it's literally Persona 5.
Alright, Phantom Thieves, here we go. Pretty much. Oh,
he came up with, like, you know, all-out attack, baton passes for us. And then he even introduced a Morgana.
No way.
Or in his word, Vega. And so we spent a couple sessions going through a dungeon crawl, literally the same as you would like Persona 5, because Brian I forgot how I said it, but I just brought up, like, you know, like I like Persona 5, and Brian's like, oh, me too, so let me put this into the story. Nice. And I swear that was like really, really cool. It was really fun. Like, I even asked him, I was like, do you think you would be able to run it again? I asked him about that recently. He said like he'd have to find like a good way to insert it in, you know?
Now Steph, here's the biggest question about Vega. Did Vega ever tell you guys that it's late and you guys should go to sleep?
I don't think he ever did.
No.
Instead, he kidnapped one of our party members to go on a trip to around the world to recruit people.
Oh, fair enough. That works.
Also, I'm linking the 3 that Anthony rolled on the wisdom save.
Nice.
And I think at the very end you hear Brian say, "Oh no."
It's just like that cut off, just the "oh no," and it just cuts off. That I love it. So I know that for me, I DM, DM's curse and everything. But I know that if I remember correctly, you DM'd the one shot before, right?
I've DM'd a couple now at this point. Yeah.
How does it feel to be a DM on that side? Is it like hard, or how do you feel? Do you think it's hard? Do you think it's easy? Do you enjoy it?
It's pretty hard because I want it to be perfect. Like I want to be able to, like, I want them to enjoy the story. I guess is like the best way to put it. And it's really hard, like, balancing the fun and the difficulty, because like you don't want it to be so easy that like they're cruising through, they're like, oh, this was nothing, like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to make it impossibly difficult to the point that they're like, oh god, I don't want to play anymore, because I've been on the side of both. I've been through some difficult battles that Brian has given us, and whether it's typically down to the dice rolls, like they just roll better than we do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's usually not the DM's fault in a way. Sometimes, like there are bad DMs. There are DMs that just like do not give a shit about like balancing.
That's true.
But Brian does a really good job with it. It's just like sometimes it kind of comes down to the players and the roles,
Oh, yeah.
Like Brian set up a game of chance in the final battle before the end of season 2 finale, where it was literally between our party member and the villain. Literally just a D20 fight plus modifiers based on certain circumstances. Andrew just kept rolling lower than the guy. Like that's just how it is. Like it could have, on another day, it could have gone the other way. Andrew could have been winning the entire time.
Yeah. Where
it came down to the point where I think like Andrew, like it was first to 5 on this roll. Andrew was down like 2 to 4. Like, and so Anthony or Lawrence had to come in like really clutch and literally cast Wish to swap their score so that Andrew had a higher chance of winning now.
Wish is such a clutch spell, but god, it's scary. Wish is a very scary spell, depending on which player has it.
It's always the bard.
Yep. It's always the bard. Oh god, no, Roy's a bard! Roy's a bard! Oh god! Sorry, I had a little bit of a panic attack. Sorry, because you know how it is with Roy. I mean, if you've seen it.
That's why, like, I as much as everyone's against it, just because there'd be just so many people, at least I want to see Roy interact with our group. Like, he and Anthony would work so well, because, like, I know your group is more, like, roleplay, right? Like, our group is a little bit more combat. Anthony is the one that, like, does most of the role-playing, and he does a really good job at it. Like, I'm actually a really big fan of how Anthony / Lawrence, or how Anthony does his role-playing for, like, all of his characters.
Yeah.
And then I've started like trying to do it a little bit more because of, it's kind of boring to just kind of like move on from the story, but at the same time, like we don't want to dwell on particular like role-playing things too much. And then like we had a 3-month break in story after fighting an elder, like a super old green dragon. So Brian was like, all right, I'm gonna give you guys 3 months to rest, all right? And then I was like, oh, that coincidentally goes through Onwin's birthday. Like, Onwin's birthday is gonna pass. So I would like a role-playing scene of that, of like everyone gathering and like getting together for Onwin's birthday. Because like everyone else would just be kind of like doing their own thing, but like I kind of want to let everyone kind of come together and like interact with each other.
Yeah, it's like a downtime thing, which is kind of nice.
Exactly. Because we're not going to get that all the time, It's going to be a lot of fighting. Once shit hits the fan, it's over.
Oh, yeah. That's why with the oddities and everything, I'm just like, you know what? Let's have a beach episode. Like, it'd be nice just to Personally, for me, I love the roleplay aspect of D&D. Combat
Hmm.
is combat. Like I will definitely do one session without combat and maybe like a one session with combat, maybe two sessions without combat. But in the end, it's just kind of get like the sense of this is D&D. There will be fights. Your character might die, and some roles are just unlucky.
Our characters have definitely died.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony's characters, I started keeping a tally
Mhm.
partway through season 1. Anthony leads pretty handedly over like who like most deaths and stuff. It's
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because does Brian do permadeath in your game?
yeah, like
Or
if we can't resurrect the guy, then they're dead.
okay, yeah. I always, for some reason, I always like that concept more with the, hey, once they're dead, they're dead. You know, I don't like the concept of resurrection because I kind of like when the players have an attachment to their player characters, because it's just the concept of, if you give a person a chance to make a new character, if they no longer like the character, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna kill my character, you know, and or like, hey, I know I'm just gonna go, you know, balls deep into a whole crowd of like a whole cloud of level 9 hunters and just kill my character because I know that he'll be res back. Like, I don't really like that concept in D&D, so I'm just like, you know what? If your character dies, you roll your 3 saves and you fail, then he's gone. He can't be resurrected back, unless lore specific reasons. But other than that, it was
Like
I don't
plot armor.
yeah, like plot armor, which is definitely in. I have done that once in my campaign with Roy, because he rolled a natural 20 on a certain investigation check and he got a special item. I did not think he would get that item, and he actually almost died, like in one fight. Eggsy knows. If Eggsy's in here, he knows which fight I'm talking about. But yeah, dude. But you know, coming from a DM to a player and a new, like, somewhat, I guess, would you say you're a new DM, or would you say you've had the experience of it? Because
I
wouldn't
have
say.
experience doing like one shots.
Mhm.
I did a 2-day story.
Mhm.
But I haven't gone beyond that.
Okay. Yeah.
There were I came up with this concept of a corrupted. So our group is called Astralis.
Mhm.
100% not intending to, get copyright struck from the Astralis Esports organization, but so I came up with this concept because I wanted to run a one shot, and I presented it to Brian and said, "What if Astralis was corrupted through various means because
Mhm.
of these two twins from the Shadowfell?" And I ran with that, and I came up with like a one shot of that, and then Brian was like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of interested to see where you would go for us to like fight the twins." And it was a little rough. That was definitely like the spin-off was my
Mhm.
roughest I think I'd have.
Yeah.
But like I learned from that and started like I kind of like just shelved it, and then some people in the amateur league community was like, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in D&D."
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, let me run a couple one shots with you guys." And that had nothing to do with the Astralis story, but then like I started doing D&D again with them, and I was like, "Okay, let me give you guys the corrupted Astralis like concept and see how that goes."
Yeah. How'd that fare for them?
The what was it? The outcome was the same. They discovered that who the twins are in the story and all of that, and then we were gonna continue it with the same group once Proving Grounds for the amateur scene was finished.
Okay.
But just stuff happened and it just kind of fell through, and it pretty much just like those characters are never gonna be seen again. And I mean, the story can be reused over and over.
Yeah.
Like I can always perfect it for other people that are interested. It's just that like that particular group, they're just never going to be able to see the finish of it just because of circumstances that happened.
Yeah, that's understandable there. Because that was actually what I was going to ask too. Is like, would you be able to recycle it? Let's say if some people like, or the oddities wanted to take a crack at it and stuff.
If the thing again is like, because I'm more of a combat person, I'm really bad actually with like improv, which is really ironic because like I want to do more role play, but I'm just really bad at improv right now.
Yeah.
So if the oddities were interested, like they would actually have to fight more than role play.
I see. Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of time to role play. There's more because most of your time is going to be spent on fighting. And then over the summer there was this free one shot called Camp Clearwater, and I presented it to a couple people in my server, like Kevin, Divya, Dennis, and stuff, and we ran that. And they were like, "Oh, we're pretty interested in like D&D. That was a pretty good like starter." Yeah. I was like, "Okay, okay, Tommy. What I'm saying is the oddities are more roleplay than combat, and I'm a little like, if y'all want to run this, if y'all want to run Corrupted Astralis, by all means, just be ready for y'all to be fighting more than roleplaying." But yeah, like there was a book that came out from Wizards of the Coast called Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and there's a module in there called House of Lament.
Oh, okay.
So I'm working on that right now for them, but like it's not like a big priority just because like that, that group is just so busy. Like Dennis has work, Dan has work, Kevin has work, Trammy's at school and stuff. But I really liked the idea of House of Lament, and I just wanted a dip. I just wanted to dip my toe in Ravenloft and like the dread, like all that stuff. Yeah. But Brian didn't really like the idea of having everyone start low level because that module was designed for level 1, and you finish level 3.
Yeah, Ravenloft is not. It's a real hard module. It's not to be. It's for like very veteran players, from what I've heard and what I've seen in like.
I think that might be Chris Estrad.
Chris Estrad, most likely.
That could be Chris Estrad. Yeah. So this module is designed. You start at level 1 and then you go up to level 3 because a lot of the combats, like the monsters, are really weak for like higher level people. So Brian and Brian actually helped me. So he actually knows the outcome, and like the bare bones of the story, which I can't reveal just in case my my party is involved in the stream. But basically they so it took a little bit, but we finally settled on a date. So next week let me see, I need to check my stream or our server.
Hey, let everyone know in here too, so if anyone's interested they can catch you up on that when you stream it.
Yeah, so in 4 days on December 15th at 7 p.m. Pacific time ish. Give or take a couple of minutes because we tend to be late. I will be streaming a one shot where I'll be DMing a homebrew version of the House of Lament. Where is my summary? Where's my
super suit?
So I can kind of like give y'all like a teaser of like the concept.
Yeah,
this is the story of a dysfunctional family trying to make a quick buck. An eccentric goblin adopted a handful of gifted, I think, individuals, an abandoned hill giant yearning for his adoptive father's approval, a fellow goblin with kleptomaniac tendencies for socks, a kobold tinkerer, and a human butler that is slowly figuring out his new gifts. During their adventures together, the older goblinoid, their adoptive father, had heard word of a haunted house. However, not believing in the supernatural, he took his little family to the house to prove everyone wrong. And that is where we begin this tale.
Oh, that sounds exciting. I'm actually very excited to see it. Yeah, I mean, it is finals week for me next week, but if I can find some time to catch it, oh, you bet I'm going to be in there and just like enjoying the time watching the stream and just listening to how the players interact and what happens, what kind of roles they roll, and all that fun stuff. So
Brian is playing the elder goblin, the adopted father, and he's kind of basing it off of the Umbrella Academy with dad and like the kids with gifts. Like that was the concept.
Yeah.
And then obviously I never watched Umbrella Academy, so he can roleplay with the rest of our group as he wants. You know, like I'm just gonna continue the story as it is. So like I actually have to like take a look at my notes, just make sure everything's okay, everything's good, updated to, you know, the proper levels. You know, just make sure the maps are working, because it has been a while. We haven't played D&D for the last 2 months, you know, all that good stuff.
True. It's been a bit for you guys, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I have D&D has been on my mind since October, just because of things that will be happening in season 3 that Brian told me about.
Yep.
So I've just been like thinking, and then like I also kind of wanted to give Anwen some more character development about herself, so that, you know, like I've been trying to get into her headspace and seeing how she would like, because there's a topic that like I want her to hit with Brian role-playing as like certain characters, and which I really appreciate, like he's letting me like do it, and so I've just been trying to like think like, how would she talk about it, how would she approach this, you know, because like she is like my child, you know, like my character that I came up with.
I give her life.
But that doesn't mean like she thinks exactly like me, you know, especially because you know it's modern day me versus like medieval fantasy her, you know, so some things that like she thinks about, some of her fears and desires are different from mine, you know. No, which is really hard sometimes, because like you know, I have to fight the urge that is like that is me trying to protect my character.
Oh yeah, no, same here. Like I agree with you 100%, because that's the same way with me and Zoris. Like I try my best to be a really nice person, but man, when I hop on Zoris, I try. It hurts, but I become the biggest cindery asshole I can, because that's how Zoris is. You know, he acts like a jerk, but he in the inside he cares. So being a jerk to a lot of the players, and like I feel so bad. Like sometimes I just get the urge to apologize afterwards, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and it really helps. It really helps that everyone just has to remember, you know, like this is all role play. You know, sometimes feelings can be hurt if it's not clear, but then like, I mean, the fact that we've been playing for 2 years says something, you know, like we started out with a bigger group, but just like interest or just time, you know, it eventually came down to only, was it me, Justin, Anthony, Cole, and so 5 of us at our DM, when we had like 4 other people with us at the time. You know, no hard feelings with them, you know, they just lost interest. It is what it is, you know. And it's pretty funny is that like we've all created more characters than our original. So let me find the picture. This is the original like party that I am sending you. Once the 4, like, again, no hard feelings with them, they just left, right? This became like the core group. If you wanted to show the group or the viewers.
Yeah, let's send it to them.
Joyce did an amazing job on this one. Like, it is one of my top favorite pieces, because the context with it was that we went to a party, the New Year's Eve party that was being hosted by the Czar.
Oh, does it not want me to? Oh, I see why. Okay, I see what the issue. That it's gonna boom go really huge. I just need to make sure everyone can see it. That does it? Oh, I yep. That's why. Let me just. Boom! There we go.
Because it's a big piece,
Boom.
yeah.
It's a really big piece.
Yeah. So from left to right, that Lawrence Strange is the guy in the green vest. Our half-elf bard, our super chaotic friend, plays a harmonica for his go-to weapon or instrument. Then we have the golden dragonborn, Zathanon Bahamut. He's a paladin, and he's I think level 14 paladin, level 3 bard. Just because his story. And then front and center is Kane Ellenrin, our Wood Elf Rogue. Also, our Azamar or Asthma. Words are hard. I don't know if Justin's in the stream, but
he just needs his inhaler from time to time, right? He has asthma.
He's also an Asmir. Yeah, ASMR. He is also an ASMR.
He gets really close to his mic when he talks. Man.
I'll give the context on that after I introduce everyone, and then the dark elf is me, Onwin. Just after she had cut her hair, because originally I had her with basically the same hairstyle as Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then I asked to get my hair cut. And then our TPK Wild Magic Half Elf Sorcerer, Yugel the Gnome, whose first name is literally League backwards.
No way. I actually didn't catch that. Is it seriously just a League backwards?
Yep.
Oh my god! No wonder he just TPK'd the whole team. He's the whole League community. Oh no.
He does like backwards stuff a lot. Like his like username is Emina, which is anime backwards.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny though.
All right, and then so the story with Mr. Asthma in the middle. Justin came to Brian with a blank slate, and Brian tells me the story pretty often when I bring it up. Of like, so a lot of our adventures is just kind of like our decisions presented to Brian. So going back to that, Justin gave Brian a blank slate. Justin just basically said, "Oh yeah, I'm an orphan," and Brian was like, "Okay." He kind of gave me a lot to work with. Around the Persona 5 arc of the story, where we went into that person's mind when we met his version of Morgana, which is Vega in our world. Justin's Kane just happened to hit it off with Vega in very, very similar to Ryuji and Morgana, right? And at that time, they were both Brian. Like, Brian didn't know what he really wanted to do with Vega too, I believe. And then he kind of like had an idea, and then he came up with like this whole concept, and Kane became like this chosen one of the gods to like, at the time, to unite the world under like a like one specific god, which is bad in a very specific context that we're in right now for our story. But Kane refused to do that. He refused to unite them and let them believe in what they wanted to, I believe is the story. I don't know if Justin's in here. I don't know if he can confirm or deny this. And then Vega became his guide, his angelic guide. And Kane became an Azamar because, like, he's touched by not just a god, he was touched by all of the gods, however many gods there are.
I don't like where he's going. He was touched by all of the gods?
All right, stop right there, Ethan. We're not going there.
They have to have made that joke at least once or twice in your campaign.
Tommy, no.
All the gods touched him, not just one, but all of them.
Yeah, and so that's why Kane is on paper he is a wood elf. Mechanically, for the most part, he is a wood elf as well. But he does have like like in Overwatch, Mercy has like her wings and like she would fly to people. Kane can do the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Like that's the extent of his Azamar capabilities, and of course he can speak Celestial now. Like he has a couple like minor things, but his like he's still wood elf through and through. He just has a couple Azamar like capabilities because of like being touched by the gods.
As long as he didn't choose the edgy Azamar, the fallen angel.
No, because that was me.
I'm so sorry. Please don't cancel me on Twitter. No, consent is key, right, Chaos Ninja? Just say yes.
I ended up being an edgy Azamar. So this was before, Brian. So during, there were 3 weeks where we had a kind of like a downtime,
Okay.
where we were where people were like missing. They like had stuff to do, right? But like everyone else was available, so we did like just one-offs here and there, and we came up with a like Andrew or Yu-Gi-Oh's player wanted to DM the story, and I was like just looking around. I was like, oh, okay, let me play this Azumar. But wait, there's a fallen Azumar. All right, I'm gonna play her. And I was like, okay, I want to do magic, right? And so I was like, okay, let's do Warlock. And I was like, ooh, let's do Warlock with the patron of a fiend, of a devil, and is a fallen Azumar. And so I ended up being the first person to play the Azumar, but we didn't know any implications with it at the time until the stuff with Kane got like introduced. So just by pure coincidence, my character for Andrew's one shot ended up like coming into Brian's world as a whole, because like a lot of our one shots are like within the world, just like different parts of the world, which is really cool, you know, because like we get to explore more of the world like through other characters. At the time, because it was just a one-off, I didn't have art for her, but then we actually revisited Andrew's story, so I actually had Joyce draw a picture of my character. I kind of don't want to show it because it's literally Morgana from League of Legends.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, like Brian lets us create a lot of characters just for like everyone else's like stories, or in like sometimes narratively it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Kane had to take off for a little bit, so Brian let him create a character, and he and Justin played that character for a little bit. Anthony also did something like that, where he introduced Mike, which is the Yankee fighter.
Okay.
Andrew's character also, like I think Zathanon or Cole's character is the one that like has stuck around through like most of the adventures, whereas everyone else has kind of like rotated.
I gotcha.
But yeah, so like I have 1, 2, 3, 5 characters. 5 characters created in this world.
That's a good amount right there.
Yeah, Onwin's my first one. Then we have Sveltana, which is the edgy Azumar. Then we have Yuki, my dog wizard. That was fun. I was like, I just told Brian, like, I kind of wanted a break from Ranger. Let's try something new. So Brian's like, okay, here, wizard dog. Cool. Then I played a Dragonborn barbarian, a reworked barbarian, because Brian homebrewed it.
Nice.
She only played for like 1 session, but it was pretty fun. I tanked a lot of shit.
Oh yeah.
And then a 5th character that is coming in season 3 that I will not reveal beyond that, because
gotcha.
it looks like Justin's in the chat now, and I don't want him to know any details on it. I don't want to spoil people on it. But I'm pretty excited for like the circumstances for it, of how this character gets introduced. And then Anthony has Lawrence, Mike, Maverick, and Mendel, technically Mendel. So like Anthony and I have created a lot of characters. Everyone else has like created 1 or 2.
I see. Yeah, I mean it's nice. It's nice to create new characters though, because you get a new aspect, a new look into like, oh, this is how this class works. Oh, you know, I want to play a monk, but now I got to know all about key points instead of spell slots and all that fun jazzy stuff that we're all forced to learn. If we
I really like character creation as well. Nice. Just like thinking about how this person would work theoretically.
Now I'm looking at some of the questions on Curious Cat. I think there's a good one that I do want to ask you is, what is your favorite thing about D&D? Like unless it is the character creations that you love.
Dice go click clack. No kidding. I think it's just for me, this is very cliche and very like dramatic, I guess. But it's a way for me to just get together with some people and just pretend to be other characters, other people for 4 to 8 hours, depending on the story.
Yeah.
Obviously, like sometimes we'll have challenges that make us want to quit, which has happened before. I can't speak for the other people in my group, but there have been like arcs or sessions where I'm just so stressed where I'm like, God, I don't want to like show up to the session,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like at the same time, it's not fair to do that for everyone just because like I've been with them for 2 years. We're gonna make it out of here somehow, some way. Brian's not gonna intentionally screw us over. He's not gonna do that, because like he's very conscious of like how he I like to think he perceives our reactions pretty well. So like if we're not happy about something, like he'll strive to improve it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's just, I guess it's to answer the questions that like just getting together for a couple hours and just pretending to be other people and just rolling the dice and seeing where the story takes us.
Yeah,
because there's no cheats to this, like there is literally no way to cheat your way to the perfect solution. Like there's no guide or anything. It's just between you and the other people sitting in this call with you to figure things out.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of brains put into one, and sometimes they click, sometimes they don't, but as long as everyone's having fun, it's a good time. That's the best thing about D&D too. So, and that was a good question. Whoever asked that, good question. And for those who haven't tried D&D, you have to at least try it once. I get it. A lot of people are like, it's very nerdy stuff, but hey, you don't know until you take a crack at it. Like that's what that was my concept with it. I was scared to go into D&D because I'm just like, oh, that's that nerdy stuff that I can never role play. But look where we are now. I'm a forever DM. Yeah, but I definitely though stuff again, it's great to listen to all your stories, everything that goes on in your campaign. Like even if it's just a little bit that I'm able to drop in, it always sounds like you guys are having such a great time, which is fun. I mean, sometimes stressful, definitely sometimes stressful.
Yeah, like we had a session where Brian almost TPK'd us. We got into a fight that we were just way in over our heads. A couple rules like fell through. A couple rulings fell through, which it happens, like when everyone gets into the thick of things, we forget or like we misinterpret certain rules, and it happens, but like we were able to solve the problem like the following week. But we have had some sessions that were really rough where most of the time it's just like outside factors too. Like this is a little personal, but in January of this year, like my whole family got COVID, and like I had to relocate and deal with the stuff that was happening at home, and we had a session that was just really rough on my character and her emotions, and in a way like that kind of affected me too, just because like the ending of that session also turned out poorly at the time, and it was pretty rough. But like I still stuck around. We all got through it, and like I said, it helped character development a little bit more for my character too, because like that gave me a chance to let her step back and recuperate mentally and like talk to people, while the rest of the party went on another adventure with my dog wizard, who happened to be connected to the location they were going to. So in a way it worked out, but in a way it was still pretty rough for me to like kind of deal with all of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hope everyone in your family is doing okay and everyone's safe now.
Yeah, like we're much better, but like the first month of the year was pretty rough, just like going through like that.
Oh yeah.
And having to maneuver with it.
I can imagine, like, holy crap, but again, glad that your family's safe now. Glad that everyone feels better. I'm glad that you're safe, and hopefully everyone continues to stay safe, stay social distance. Hopefully you guys are getting vaccinated and everything, as most people, like a lot of people should. Just state of California, and then there's also the U.S. in general, and we got the Floridans. We don't talk about that though. don't want to jump into that kind of stuff, or else I'm gonna get canceled on Twitter again, and it'll be my own doing. But yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I don't know why it reminds me, but it's just like to kind of like make it less down, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I enjoy too with D&D is like even when things get serious, we still have fun moments.
Oh yeah.
Which segues into a couple really funny art that Joyce has drawn for us that I need to show you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Send it my way, and then we'll go ahead and show chat.
Okay, so this first one, it was her first one, like 2 years ago or so. We were being onset by a fucking golden canary, which led to someone. So like we were like our nerves were frayed and we were just like super nervous. Someone knocked on the door of the inn that we were staying in, and so Joyce drew the perspective of like us opening the door and just like preparing and just like waiting to see who it was.
All right, let me see if I can open it up for everyone to see. Oh, whoops. Sorry, browser's up a bit. Okay, I think we're good here. So do this, and I will make this a little bit bigger for everyone to see. But yeah, so this one right here is it. I'll go ahead and just crop it so it sees fit. But this is actually as big as it gets. But this is
Joyce draws a lot of like big art, and she also draws like these meme like sketches or like line art that sometimes you don't need color for like to tell the story. Like we just have it like that. And here's another one. Yugel was Yugel was just worried that like he would fall under the influence of his blood.
Yeah.
Let's put it at that. So he asked Zath, our holy paladin, to kill him if worse comes to worse.
Oh man, dude, this is great.
But your friend is asking you to kill them if things go wrong,
Right.
How do you respond to that? How do you do that?
Just gotta just to kill me.
God, so the text at the beginning says, "I know this is tough, but I've accepted my fate. I can trust you guys. You're my friends after all, so please kill me." And then you see Kane, who also has to kill him, and Zath is just really funny because of the height difference too. Kane looks like a baby or like a child next to Zath. He's like a big. So the thing that Joyce tells me all the time, and I do feel bad having to ask her, is drawing Zath because he's a dragonborn. She can't draw dragonborns.
Yeah, no, but hey, she did a great job on it though.
Yeah, and it's just because like, it's. I don't want to say easier, but it's more convenient, I guess, to just DM Joyce and be like, "Hey, can you draw this concept for me?" And then, like I understand Zath is hard, so like don't worry too much about it. Do your best with it, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, she does so much stuff for the oddities too, though, and it's just I don't know how they do it. I don't know how her, Yen, or like and everyone, Tan, like all the artists and that star as the oddities, they do it so quick too. You ask them for it, or you don't even. It happens in the game, and all of a sudden, boom! There's like a little doodle for it, like a draw, or like
they doodle like on the side, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm just like, yo, that's crazy, but. God, it matches the story. They know how to create such a good story, like pretty much art for it. But
speaking of dragons that Joyce can't draw, she did a dang good job with this piece. So we were fighting a red dragon. So as you
this
pop
is
it
the
up,
one.
I'll explain it. Yeah, this is the one. I don't know if you know the story behind it, but I can tell you what happened in here.
Yeah, give me 1 second to pop it out a little bit and then send it on.
But basically, I can actually pretty much just start on the story.
There we go.
We had to deal with an adult, I think, adult red dragon. We were like level 6 or so. So this was an adult red dragon, and we wanted to lure it out of his lair because we all know we ain't fucking with a dragon in its lair.
It's true.
So Lawrence volunteered to basically be bait. So this is actually an image of him running away with the dragon chasing after him as he's running, and Lawrence had a thing with like candy that like he was just dropping it as he was running, so then that's why like it's this.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then this actually is kind of a personal one, but a memey one as well. At some point in Kane and Onwin's relationship, Onwin started like developing feelings for Kane. I swear to God, this is not how it started for me and Justin. And Onwin asked some people for advice, and they told her some advice, and she didn't do a really good job understanding, which led to the Kabedon.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me pull this one up now too.
Which led to the infamous Kabedon between Kane and Onwin.
Let's zoom it in a little bit, and then I will put it up on the stream. And quick, right there. There we go. Everyone can see this now. The whole world.
The whole world can see Onwin not understanding things and pulling Kane into the alleyway to try and like talk to him about something, and just completely making it really, really awkward.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty funny though, dude. Like, there's so many. Just when you see it come to life in an actual artwork, like holy crap! You just look at it and you're just like, man, this is just the way I envisioned it, or you to the artist who drew it and who either you commissioned or they wanted to do it for you. You're just like, holy crap, man! Like this is exactly how I wanted it to look. And hands down to Joyce, definitely hands down to Joyce. If one of my moderators, or anyone in here that has Joyce's Twitter, please link it so people can check out more of her art. I
actually have it. I got permission from her to share. And the really cool thing too was that some person just came by my stream, and I think they saw how Onwin was drawn in my Twitch profile, and saw everyone's like tokens, and they followed like the rabbit hole on my channel of like, oh yeah, this art was drawn by my friend. And so Joyce actually got a commission from someone, is what she told me, because this person just happened to stop by my stream, saw the art, really liked it. And Joyce was like, hey, do you know this person? I was like, no. And she's like, oh, because like they asked me to draw like their D&D character. And I was like, oh, this might be this one person that just swung by my stream to ask.
Yeah, that's nice though. It's really nice how like, just all I can say, support your small artists, support artists on Twitter who are not jerks.
I will also say Hien also did a little piece for me as well.
Let's go ahead and show the community.
They originally drew this variation for the oddities, and I was like, I kind of want to see how it looks like for Astralis.
Oh yeah, this thing.
So Hien was the one that drew this. So from time to time, Hien also does like redraws for me too, because I really like their art style as well. So sometimes like, oh, there's like an already drawn character, or like
actually, if you have the oddities one, I kind of want to show it to you just so we can get like the full aspect of it.
Does Hien? I think Hien would have it. I forgot. They sent it like a long time ago, because this is kind of an old one.
Yeah, because I know Tommy's in here. I think Ken is in here too. If you guys can find it, send it to Steph so that we can take a look at it. Because I think
if y'all here, just put in the oddities channel, and then like Fang and I can like.
Yeah, the Among Us version of the oddities.
So Hien drew an Among Us version of the oddities, I believe, and I really liked it. That's what led to Astralis Among Us.
A little sussy, if you ask me. God, I love the harmonica one too, and how like you got yourself the is that I know for sure Onwin is the one with the headband, right? But that covers.
No. Onwin's the green one, the top green one.
Okay. God, and who's the one with the? It's funny just seeing the headband like cross off the face.
That's Mike, who wasn't in the party picture, because he's Anthony's like other character that came like later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why.
That's cool though.
And then this is one of my, actually no, here, let me show you guys like what Onwin looked like before. It's 2 pictures, so feel free to kind of like hop between it.
Yeah, we'll do.
So like one is like hooded, one is without the hood. You can choose like which one you want to show them first.
We'll show this one. Actually, I think if I can do that, let me. These very quick, both of them, and I can actually just transition to both of them. Life will be easier. We'll do this one first. But definitely this one. Let me zoom in a little bit. The chat.
And then
get a view of it. There we go. That works.
So that was the original concept of her. That's what she looked like originally starting out, and then we transitioned into winter. So she had like a clothing update. So instead of like this green, just like think of blue, like kind of like winter clothes. And then, like I said, she cut her hair, which y'all saw in the party picture. And then we had like a year time skip. So this is what Onwin looks like now. Originally, there's an amulet on her that she's wearing that she didn't have like starting out, but like that's what she looks like now. Joyce is technically gonna update it again. Because during the adventures, Onwin lost her entire left arm.
Oh yeah.
During the the Feywild adventures, she had stuck her arm into a tree to receive great power, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna freaking do it. And then Brian was reworking Ranger, and that coincidentally led to me not being able to spellcast as much anymore. And then we were able to tie it into like a story, like a story reason. And long story short, she eventually got a prosthetic from someone, but the upkeep is pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's something. But yeah,
it's like 50 gold a week.
Oh man, yeah, that's expensive. So
Tommy, I think he might have put in the D&D channel in the Snake server, but I think like it's been a while.
Yeah,
if he ends around, you can ask him too. But yeah, and then
we're all good.
I was just like, I kind of want Onwin to get her arm back, So there just happened to be some characters who can cast regenerate. So I got permission from Brian to, like, can I get my arm back? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So Joyce will eventually. I'll eventually ask Joyce to update it, but for now, honestly, like I really like the designing and effort that she put into the prosthetic too.
Oh yeah.
That like is honestly too good to like not. We're just gonna have to remember that, like, oh yeah, Onwin got her arm back. Like, it's not a prosthetic anymore.
Oh yeah, no, but it looks nice though, dude. All these artworks look so nice.
But I would say this is like my favorite drawing of Onwin and Kai. This was drawn with Onwin wearing her winter clothes. The story behind this was they got to meet their parents for a brief time. And
oh no, you pulled a Naruto scene. You pulled a Naruto scene on us like that.
Yep.
Oh no, I'm gonna cry.
So Brian asked me, all right, which parent is Onwin closer to? And I was like, I actually put some effort into thinking. I was like, I would say her mom. Yeah. So Brian did a way of like, story-wise, of like the parents kind of like blessing the siblings in a way, right? So like Onwin's original prosthetic was not magical. It was just like just there. So for some time, her mother's spirit was like helping her like use the prosthetic. Kai's a hothead, so their dad was like around to like remind her to like stay calm and stuff. And like this is just really good like detailing, and just like everything about this piece was just really good. That's why like it was my Twitter profile for a while.
Oh yeah, no, it's really nice, and that's a lot of good thought through it too. And you can see the it's the really nice feature that I'm seeing is her prosthetic hand too, with the guidance and everything.
Yeah, like we were trying to figure out like what would be the best way to like show it, and I was like, I think we just have it like up in front of her and like it's glowing.
Yeah, that's a nice feature. Like, oh man, and same thing for just all of them. Like the whole picture in itself, the whole artwork is, you know, a lot of time has been spent into it, and there's been a lot of thought process into it, which nice. It really is nice.
Yeah, Joyce is, like I said, is our unofficial artist. Yeah. So like even Brian has hit her up from time to time. So like Kai is actually Brian's commission, and like a couple other characters that a couple other like important NPCs that is a part of Brian's world, Joyce drew them.
Oh, nice.
So it's really funny. Do you know Igmilf?
I think I've heard of it a few times. Not
IGG Igwilv. IGGWILV.
Oh, you gotta give me a quick recap on that. I've seen it before. I've seen that before. I just can't recall right now.
He is the author of the Demonomicons in like the world of D&D.
Okay, there we go. Yep, that's what it
Igwilv
was.
herself, yeah, Tasha, like Tasha's Hideous Laughter, or Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, like that Igwilv. So
That's wild,
Joyce. I hope Brian's not watching. Joyce sent a picture of Igwilv in her very early sketches in the Snake server, and Joyce was like, "Damn, this is like one of my favorite drawings." And I was just, and it was really funny too because she's like, "Steph, don't look at this," and I'm like, "Oh, this is a very nice picture." She's like, "Steph, I said not to look at it."
Don't stop.
I was like, "It's okay. I'll just not tell anyone." So it was just there, in the back of my mind. And then it was revealed that was Igwilv the entire time. So like I was technically introduced to the big bad in the second season, like way in advance. I just didn't know.
Oh, okay. It's like it was just a little slip of the tongue.
Tommy just DM'd me the oddities among us.
Okay, yeah, we can show it to chat.
He said, and I quote, "I found it with the will of God." Tommy, please elaborate on what you meant by the will of God, please.
Did he take all the gods to touch him to like find it?
Did all the gods touch you and tell you the info? I don't know if he's still here.
The goods. There it is. But yeah, so I mean, D&D altogether, we love it. It's fun stuff. Nerdy stuff, hard to explain to people, but still, we all love it. It brings so many people together and everything, and just it's just one of those times, like you said it, where you can just hang out with friends and just play someone that's not you, and everything. And sometimes you just want to be a little sussy baka. You can be a little sussy baka. I don't whatever you choose, homie.
I will say, Joyce is actually working on something for me right now. It is a scene that has yet to pass. I actually don't know if it will pass. I can't show it to you because it's spoilers again. But it has been in my mind for almost a whole year, and I was just like, when Brian kind of like gave me a heads up of this potential thing happening, I was like, oh my god, I can finally ask Joyce to draw. And I saw it. We actually before, Joyce and I would always just get an art idea together without any symbolism to it, any meaning. But like we looked at it, I looked at it, I was like, wait, there's some really good symbolism with this. I'll send it to you like privately and kind of like elaborate, but yeah, like it's a really good art. It's so cathartic to look at because, like I said, it's been in my mind for like since February.
Now, do you want me to show this on stream or no? Because I know it's very
don't show it. Like I'll DM it to you like afterwards too.
Yeah, sounds good. So transitioning from D&D and everything to, I mean, of course, there's so much more that we could go into, and there's so many things that that just pops into our mind. Because dude, I can talk to you a whole night about D&D. It'll be a fun time. Too,
yeah.
I just realized that we did hit our 2-hour mark too. So.
And we haven't gotten to like the other thing that we said we would talk about.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can get, if you have time, we can get to it like very, very briefly.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I can stick around.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, that's also like putting D&D aside for a little bit, because I know that for you do a lot of, you play League. You've played Apex. You played a lot of video games and stuff, and I'll be honest, it was crazy, wild. Pretty wonderful to hear that you actually now work in the esports scene. So now the biggest question is, what team you repping?
I rep Radiance. No GG, no esports. It's just Radiance.
Gotcha.
And that is a if y'all follow the scene, it is former Cloud9 mid laner High Lamb, also known as High's org. And yeah, like I just kind of got a position to run the social media, and I've been doing that since coincidentally around the same time we started D&D. Like I got picked up around the exact same time. And yeah, like I've been with that for 2 years, and then earlier this year my friend hit me up for a position with ESL as their associate producer and observer for some of their shows.
Oh wow. That's really nice. Yeah, FlyQuest. Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, it's for me personally, I'm not too big on the esports like scene and all of that stuff, but I've dabbled a little bit because you know we have a bunch of friends that love watching, you know, tournaments and teams. Like for me, if you talk to me about like the fighting game scene, like fighting games like Tekken, Dragon Ball Fighters, you know, Blaze Blue, and all that fun stuff. Like the most I know too, and it was crazy, but you had Anakin was on Radiance at one time.
Yeah, he was with Radiance for a little bit, which I mean, I actually wasn't super like my main esports was obviously League of Legends. Like that's how I ended up meeting and getting to know High and stuff. Right. And then you know, like we slowly started like picking up people. The league, so we picked up a league team, we picked up 2 league streamers, 3 technically, and then an Overwatch streamer, and then we also picked up 2 Hearthstone. So we picked up a lot of players, and then just like over the years we let them go, just like contracts and stuff like that. You know, like stuff happens. Oh, yeah, you can't keep someone signed forever. Yeah. In terms of fighting games, we had Anakin, TK Anakin himself, play for us for like a year, I believe. He went to Tekken World Tour. Yeah, that was fun. I went to bed at like 2 in the morning, woke up at 6 in the morning, just because of like the formatting, and they were playing in Thailand, so the time zones were just pretty whack. It was really good timing on my end because I woke up right as Anakin won his first top 8 match. So he went to the semifinals. And bro, that was wild. Like I remember sitting in my seat, I'm like, holy shit. He had such a comeback against I think it was like Bookers. Yeah. And then like a week later, Commander Jesse, our Street Fighter 5 player, was participating in the Last Chance qualifier up in LA, which is, you know, like a pretty decent drive for me. I honestly don't regret that because it was a really fun experience. It was super crowded, you know, like this is pre-COVID. Everyone, there was no stream for LCQ because it was pretty much a free-for-all. You're just playing through a bracket and just hoping for the best. You know, like only one guy, only one person can qualify out of like 100 some. And Jesse literally went down to like, I think he was in the top 4, lost to the eventual person that won LCQ, and he went through the losers or the lower bracket, got to the finals, and you know did his best to beat his opponent, but the guy like won over him. But like he basically placed second in the entire LCQ, and it was pretty grassroots because like a lot of people were streaming their POVs, including Jesse. Like me and one of our other people came up there, and we were like just standing there and like supporting him. I still remember like it was a big crowd behind him and his opponent. Like a fire hazard type of like crowd. Like everyone was just trying to see the POV of Jesse versus the guy. But Katrina and I just like could not get in, and you know it was getting really like claustrophobic, so we actually sat in front of him, like across from him of the table. We didn't know what was happening, so we just kind of like gauged from the audience's like perspective. But it was a really good like day. Like obviously it was pretty sad like to see Jesse get so far but like not win, but it was a really good like moment to like, because for me I liked the opportunity to meet our players. I don't like just sitting at home watching them play online and just like asking them, you know, like it's just not the same.
Because you don't have that, like you don't have that physical connection where you like, hey, you know, I see how I see how he plays, but he's different as a person when you talk to him and you get to either interview him or just chat with them and that kind of stuff, which is very nice.
Yeah, like our first League of Legends team, we just happened to be participating in a tournament that had a LAN in City of Industry, so I actually drove there and like, you know, we had a meet the staff video. I'm not linking that one because I don't want to see myself. And you know, like we got to meet the other staff members, and the players got flown out to participate. So I got to meet them as well. So I met Flair's former enemy player, the Odd Orange, Cat Evolved, former TSM player, now a streamer, Jurassic, and then Winter. And that was a pretty good and they were going against UCI, so that was a pretty nice tournament.
Well, it sounded like it was a pretty fun tournament there. Shoot.
Some things weren't the best, but like overall I give it like an 8 out of 10 experience looking back on it. And then obviously we were gonna have a PUBG meetup soon at the time when we signed a PUBG team, but then COVID happened around the time we signed them, so a lot of like matches were being moved to online, so we never got to meet the guys in person and stuff like that.
That sucks.
It sounds like our Valorant team is gonna be in a LAN soon. I don't know if I can make it, but yeah, like I would love to, but it's just like the flight and like the fear of like COVID and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah, and dude, Valorant's getting so big though. Like when League dropped Valorant, that was the fastest, like biggest change in a lot of the FPS like esports industry. Because I know we had COD that was slowly starting to come back, and then there was CS:GO, even Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch was dying at the time, sadly, but it's where everyone kind of just made the change, and they're like, "This is what we wanted," too. So it's nice to see that the esports scene is getting a pretty big Valorant fan base in a way. But yeah, the
Valorant tier 2, tier 3 tournaments, like any tournament going on right now that's not the Champions Tour, sometimes it can be pretty rough. Like, just because like there's just so many tournaments, it's really hard for me to like keep up with all of them. Like, no flame to the team or anything like that. It's just like a lot of like matches coming up and stuff that like sometimes like I just can't drop things, you know, because like I had already made plans with other people, and you know, it's just too last minute for me to be able to justify like canceling my plans.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's just because like the tournaments, they don't stream a lot of the matches, and you just kind of have to qualify, and it's just like the uncertainty of whether or not they would be broadcasted or not, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I'm definitely for sure sometimes you just don't have the time for it, and it is what it is. But as long as you know how you have a general idea of like, oh, you know, hopefully they did well and everything, and it's all about just the heart, you know, like you root for them in some way, spiritually or physically, if you're there and whatnot. So that's pretty cool though. Like, oh man, there's got to be a lot of good times, but also kind of like bad times, because I know the esports scenes can be all over the place based on how things are handled, because I mean there's always something going on in there.
I mean, yeah, like I actually ended up private. The reason why my Twitter was private for half of the year was because of something that happened in the esports scene. It had literally nothing to do with me, but I got just so scared and tired of that I just privated, just kept people away, just you know, did things for myself, just because like it was just a really rough like couple hours, like, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, dude. I mean, with you being part of the scene and something like that happening, I'd be on the same boat as you. I'd just be like, nope, not having it. Just, I'm gone for a while. I'm gonna let things die. You know, just GG, go next, pretty much.
Yeah, let things be, let things reset, and then I'll worry about it like later.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, with you being part of Radiance and everything, has there ever been like, I guess all in all, what's your favorite part about working with Radiance and being able to, be within the esports scene?
I guess it's like, in a way, getting to see behind like what goes on. Like obviously our workflow is probably going to be different from like every other like esports work, but like just getting to be a part of it is like pretty cool, just because esports, like any other job, is pretty competitive. There's always people like trying to get hired and stuff. Like you saw the tweet that I made a couple weeks ago. Please, for the love of God, if y'all gonna try and apply for a job, please be careful with submitting your personal information to Twitter accounts. Like if it's not the hiring manager, if you're not, submitting to a backed link, I guess, for the love of God, please don't give the Twitter social media manager or any social media manager or account your personal information. Because usually you can trust people not to be malicious, but you never know. Like why would you give your full name, full address, phone number to someone that you don't know, that isn't the hiring manager, who is the one that is required to look at this information? I got so scared when I saw that. Like
it's just a big nope. Like you see it, you're like, nope, I'm just gonna message this person very quick. Don't do this kind of stuff, right?
I just kind of blocked it.
Yeah,
like
that's good.
I just like closed the link. I was like, oh no, I'm not looking at that.
No, that's the smartest thing to do too. Hands down, that is the best thing to do.
I was a part of in Light for a little bit, and someone else was sending in her resume, asking people to take a look at it, and I had to tell the other moderators, like, hey, we should tell her not to do that, because while this server isn't public, it is still relatively a public server, and I don't feel comfortable with her giving her personal information like that to everyone in the server, because there's people that lurk with like who could have malicious intent.
Yeah, definitely. And you never, it's the online world. You gotta be careful. That's the best thing anyone can say. You don't want to leak something and all of a sudden, boom, everyone knows where you live, everyone knows your whole family, and you're just like, this is dangerous, because it's scary. It's rough on that end. But I'm glad that it's good. It's good that there's people like you though, Steph, that are like, hey, be careful, we should talk to them, or don't do this kind of stuff. Telling just telling them, don't stop. So.
Yeah, please. Like, there's a reason why I don't recommend it.
But yeah, honestly, we're going on for we're at the 2 hours and almost 30-minute mark. It's been a fun talk though. Getting to know more about definitely a lot about D&D, which is fun. Like, I love it.
We can be here all day.
Yeah, we can be here all night. But yeah, so I guess to wrap things up,
were there any final questions about esports or D&D that you got from there? The curious cat. I don't know if chat had questions, but yeah.
If anyone in chat has any questions, let us know now. But I mean, there's two questions that are low-key kind of joke questions though. But if you want to answer them, is water wet?
Yes. Okay. Well, what's the other one?
Did you hear that Steve Jobs died of Ligma? And that's, of course, probably from Flamingo. I'm going to call you on that, Flamingo.
Oh, am I still doing esports at Long Beach? Kind of? I'm part of the esports server, but I don't really, interact with the board members. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with the club and how the school interacts with us that, it's not really a priority for me anymore, or at the moment, I guess is the better way to put it. So yes and no, I guess, is that if given the opportunity, if someone asks me for help, I will help, but on paper, my time is spent more towards Radiance and ESL.
That's fair there. Anyone else have any small questions before we end it off with one final question?
did you have any questions that we didn't go over in that you had sent me?
We pretty much covered the majority of it. Like, and the funny thing is that while we were talking, we kind of just covered the extra ones I had in too. So that was pretty fun. That was like it went through pretty well. So, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I guess to end things off though, there is just one big question that we'll go back to the D&D stuff because I think that is our main. I mean, not I think, but that is our main focus. But would you have any advice for anyone that's starting out? They're thinking about playing D&D, but they're scared to start, or that they're just they don't know how to start playing D&D. Like, any advice that you can give anyone then?
For me, it kind of fell on my lap, but I think the best, or like one option is obviously just ask your buddies, ask your friends, like, hey, is anyone interested in D&D? And with like the online like world, you can pretty much, if you're in a lot of like communities, you're bound to find someone that you would want, or that would want to play D&D as well, and you guys, for all you know, could end up hitting it off. I will 100% say you won't always hit the right people to play D&D with. There will be times where you have a party member or a DM or something that just may ruin your experience with D&D. But, like, you shouldn't at the same time let that affect you that much, just because that, you shouldn't let one person or one experience kind of bog you down, right? Like, I don't want to call out the name, but I did have a pretty toxic player that made it really rough for me. Like, I actually streamed the session and blew up on this person on stream. I straight up told them if they did not calm down, I'm removing them from the call, like, right that instant, just because like their role playing was getting a little bit too much for me to handle and was just getting a little bit too aggressive. And I genuinely was scared of doing that. Like, that anxiety feel when, like, you have to confront someone, and I had to stop mid-session to do it too. But like, I had to stand my ground just because of like how things were turning. But to go back on it, like, just because there's just that one bad experience doesn't mean like I completely stopped D&D or stopped DMing, because like, that drama aside, I still enjoyed DMing. I still enjoyed like playing with these guys, and just playing D&D in general. So it's just a matter, like, it's gonna take you a while before you find your stride with D&D if you're interested. Obviously, if you're lucky or fortunate, I guess is the better way to say it, you might be fortunate enough to find a group that you enjoy, and you want to stick with, right? Like, my group, we're coming on for 3 years almost. We started February 2019. February 2022 will be our 3-year anniversary, and like I said, we've lost a couple people and we gained people at the same time. But at the end of the day, like, we have the core 5 people and Brian, our DM, but like, sometimes I would play with like other people, and you're not all, like, just to emphasize, you're not always gonna find the perfect group, you're not always gonna find the perfect DM, but you're not gonna find that if you don't keep trying to find a group. Like, it's one of those like self-fulfilling prophecies in a way. If you don't get out there and do it, then how are you gonna do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's well said there though. Like, I agree with you 100%, because I think that's the best way for everyone, for not everyone but a majority of people to start. Because hey, if you don't try it, it's not gonna happen, right? But
what's the worst that could happen? Like, if I feel like you would generally know based on the judge of character how this person is already. Like, if they're a super troll, they're probably gonna be pretty troll. This is no offense to Tizzy, but I like to use him as an example. Tizzy, if you're here, I'm sorry if it came off kind of like that. But Tizzy's super flamboyant, funny, like, extroverted, right? I knew Tizzy like that. That's how I knew Tizzy. And then I played that one or two sessions with Tizzy, watched a couple of your streams, and I'm like, yeah, cheesy is exactly how I expected, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get some really good like actors that are like super, you know, asshole, like a major asshole as their character, but like IRL, you know them as a really good person. And that's also the thing is like sometimes you would also have to be able to separate the character from the player. Obviously this is kind of like was it pot calling kettle black as well, because I have had instances where like I can't tell if that is the character or the party member that is saying those things or doing that thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like even I struggle doing that sometimes. Like sometimes Onwin's doing things because I want to do it, or I'm doing things because I want that outcome, you know, like so then that's why like I have to think like, okay, why is Onwin doing this, or how is Onwin able to decide to do this, you know?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not ruining the fun for everyone, or you're not, you know, power gaming, metagaming, and that kind of stuff, then I personally think it's fair game. And, you know, just have fun. In the end, have fun. I hope, you know, try to make it fun for everyone. Don't be that one person that takes the spotlight all the time. And
yeah,
like take your time with learning. Everyone's learning.
That's
Everyone
the other thing
starts
too
somewhere.
is like when you play D&D, it's not just about you, because like there are other group members in your party, you know, like yes, sometimes the DM will hit your particular like arc, but that doesn't mean like this kind of sounds rude, but like it doesn't mean you are the main character, you know. You and your group are main characters. Just because you're having an arc doesn't mean you get to be all high and mighty over other people. And like I'm not just saying that like targeting anyone particularly, it's just like in general, you know, like you may feel, because like I'm kind of speaking from experience too, is that like just because it's your arc doesn't mean the rest of your party are just there to boost you. They are also experiencing things from their perspective. They are also like, you know, so yeah, like I would say like just start small. If you're not sure how you feel about D&D, first look for one-shots. I know on Roll20 there is a looking for game. That one's pretty risky because, you know, you're entering a group that you may not know, a lot of people you may not know. So personally I would recommend like hitting up your Discords. I have actually, like, full disclosure, I've been considering like making a separate server from my main one, the one that I use, that the oddities are in. That's just pure D&D. It's just like a looking for group thing, but a little bit more small scale compared to like the typical D&D servers, because like obviously this is gonna start with like people that I know, and then these people that I know can bring in their friends, and these friends can bring their, you know, like I don't want to say his name, but it's kind of like Arcadum's and how he did it, where he just kind of like brought a bunch of people together. But at the same time, you know, like it's not just gonna be my world or my story. It's gonna, like, the idea I had with this server would just be like anyone interested in D&D can get together and just talk about the world, which is a little hard because like everyone has their own ideas. So that's why like I kind of scrapped it for now.
So you're pretty much trying to make a adventures, like is it Adventurers Guild or something like that, where it's all within one world, but anyone.
No, it's more like anyone interested in D&D in general can join the server and just like talk D&D, find a group to play with, which is really hard just because of the time zone. So I think like it's just better to just kind of like put yourself out there and let people know that you're playing.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, so. And
then yeah, like if people want to learn more about Brian's world that like Onwin and the rest of Astralis are a part of, I would say the best thing would be to join my stream, but at the same time we're kind of like jumping into the story of season 3, so you're gonna be missing a lot of context. Like I could go on all day. I don't know, like maybe I'll just type up like a Google Doc or something. I don't know, it's kind of hard because like I just don't know who's fully, this is kind of accusatory too, I guess, but like I don't know who's fully invested in our story and who's just there because it's D&D, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk about it and find out like, oh, this person's not interested,
Yeah, but I mean, all in all, if anyone here is interested and they want to go check out more of more of Steph, May Yuki, definitely, guys, please go check her out. If you won't regret it, 100%. All the D&D games, no matter where you start, no matter what season they're on, check it out. You're gonna love it. It's a lot of chaos. It's a fun time. Stressful moments, but that's how it is. That's D&D all in all, right?
Yeah, like I can guarantee that there will be some things that you just don't understand, like certain references. That's how it is, But at the same time, you'll sometimes find, like, you may hop into the middle of combat, you don't know what's happening, but since I'm just the player in that campaign, I can easily just look to chat and type what's going on, I don't have to. Obviously, like, if Brian calls on me, it's my turn or whatever, then yeah, I won't be able to talk to chat. But like most of the time, like, I would be able to answer questions that you have about, like, like, what's going on? Why are you guys fighting an elder dragon? Why are the that I actually
close.
Why are the oddities ramming a dragon with the ship?
Yep. No, that's for.
Did I ever tell you that story?
Yeah, you did. We were actually there, and that was the funniest thing ever too. I think you have the clip somewhere.
I do.
Yep.
It is 11 minutes and 30 seconds, but the TLDR is I forgot how it came up, but I just told Brian. I think Brian was looking for a crew to man the Pleiades, which is Astralus's like warship, both aerial and aqua. Like, it can go both in the air and in the water, right? And I was like, Brian, how many people do you need in this? And he's like, I don't know, like 8 or 9. And I'm like, the oddities are 8 or 9. So then it's like 11 p.m. at night. I just pinged the oddities like, hey guys, Brian is looking for a crew for a ship. Are you guys okay with me giving him information about you guys and letting him run with it? And he's like, and like, everyone was on board. And I said, I wanted to make sure everyone in the group was comfortable with this before I like move forward with it. And then we fast forward to a little bit later. We were fighting a really, really, really old, like beyond ancient and elder
oh jeez
green dragon with like 5k HP. We were getting aerial support from the oddities, and Brian had Gavin, Tommy's character, because we made Gavin the captain.
Yeah, I can
Gavin
see that.
was like, do you want us, or I don't remember if it was him or Yu-Gi-Oh, but one of them told them to ram the dragon with the ship. So we spent a good like 5 minutes calculating the math to see how much damage the ship can do, like dice wise. Let me pull up the I think, let me wait. Here. He rolled 10d12 plus 20d6 plus 20d10.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
So 10d12 plus 20d6 plus 20d10. And that came out to 263 damage.
It was worth it. We'll take it.
And then I think like there was more stuff that like added to it.
What like explosion,
so it was like double
fire, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, like I actually have a couple like highlights on my channel as well of like very iconic moments. So like that's the first one, 11 minutes 30 seconds is like the whole sequence of us, or of like setting up for the oddities to ram the dragon. And then Brian had us play like a card game that that was pretty cool. It was a different like concept of us like fighting in combat. Like we did standard combat, but then like at the start of each round we would play a card game, and that would affect morale on either team, and whoever's morale dropped at a certain point, they lose.
So we weren't wiping everyone on the board. Well, we were fighting like key characters on the board, and then the morale would drop representing that. So
if you can,
I have a clip from that.
Yeah, if you don't have the clips, we should definitely send the clips in. And I think we're almost approaching. Actually, we're almost like 3 hours in. So
the best thing to do, I'll just link. I think this works. That should be a link to all of the highlights. So anything that looks vaguely D&D, that's D&D related. I can kind of like go through them all if you want me to, but I don't have to. It's just more of like, see, like the fun thing with D&D is sometimes you don't really need the full context. You can kind of just watch and laugh with our reactions and stuff,
Oh yeah, that's the best part, honestly. But
I think this is the best one.
If you guys can, check it out. Check out the videos. Show some support to Steph or May Yuki. But yeah, we are approaching a rather later time, so I think right now is probably the best time to just call it for today. But again, guys, by all means, check her out. You're not gonna regret it. And again, if we can, Steph, where can we find you?
Y'all can find me on Twitch at MayYuki2108. 2108 for the numbers in that exact sequence. I actually focused my streams on D&D, which happens once a week whenever our sessions are. At the moment, we're Saturday nights, 7 p.m. when we get back into the thick of things next month. But I will be streaming for sure next Wednesday with an updated overlay, thanks to a really kick-ass graphics designer who helped me design a new overlay for our main stream. So next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I will be DMing a homebrew version of the House of Lament. And because I don't stream that often, you can actually find me on Twitter as well with the exact same account, May Yuki 2108. It's a mix. I typically post when I go live as well. Yeah, like if you want to like keep in touch with me, Twitter is one way. If you want to just chill for the streams, twitch.tv/MayYuki2108 is how you can find me.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, please follow her, and if you can, give her a sub on Twitter. It'll be, and just do it. Twitch Prime. If you guys have that, you guys heard of it? Just the good stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, you get 3 emotes. You also get, so my Discord server is private. You would be you would have access to my private server if you subscribe to me, unless like we're really close. It's just like for personal reasons, because it's like my personal server, but I make exceptions for Twitch subs as long as you connect your Twitch account. Tier 1 subs get the May Yuki heart. Tier 2 gets the dab. Tier 3, you get my boyfriend's face. I'm not showing it out of respect for him. It was originally a meme, but now it's just too good to remove and bring in the actual emote. But yeah, if you want my boyfriend's face, Tier 3 or Tier 1, and join my Discord. But like I said, no pressure. Like I'm not the type that's gonna be begging for subs or anything like that. I understand people have like monetary issues, or like money's tight and stuff, so all subs and stuff are very, very appreciated. But again, like just having people come to the stream and just like living, or not, I wouldn't say living, experiencing the D&D world that Brian has created with me and the rest of my friends is already really cool. Like just seeing everyone's reactions to, basically it's just like how people are reacting to Critical Role on the internet, like having them go along the story, like finding out the truth and stuff with the party is just like, I like that a lot. Like just enjoying the story, enjoying the ride.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, definitely, guys, check her out. At most, please give her a follow. You're not gonna regret it. Both on Twitter, both on Twitch. And again, yeah, if you can, you ever heard of Twitch Prime, definitely if give her a sub, from the heart of the community and everything. But definitely, do appreciate you for coming on, Steph. Really do.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was like I said, this is my first ever podcast experience, and
Yeah.
I am genuinely glad that it was with you. And because like we got to talk, we got to be personal with each other, because like we've known each other for 8 years.
Yeah, just about. Crazy how long you know someone, right? Time goes by fast. That's the
Like
craziest
I've
thing.
known Brian and everyone else for the same length of time. It's been a decade. It doesn't feel like a decade.
It really doesn't. But again, the chat too. Thank you all for stopping by. And yeah,
Yep.
let's
If anyone wants to, I will see y'all next Wednesday night.
Yep, Wednesday night, guys. Keep that noted. 7 p.m. PST, right, Steph? Is your
7
next
p.m.
stream?
Pacific, give or take like 10 to 30 minutes, depending on everyone's like availability.
Yeah, all good there. And we're not gonna stop it here. We're gonna do something nice. And in the names of TZQ, we're gonna be nice to be nice. And I already have someone that I want to raid. He's
I was actually gonna suggest someone.
who did you have in mind?
She's actually a former friend. That's actually a really bad way to put it. A former tennis teammate, actually.
Oh shit.
I don't know if you remember her, Tiffany.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tiffany Hash.
What's her? Actually, yeah, we can do that instead. So, because I would want to give it to the guest.
Yeah, I believe she is playing right now. I'll DM you.
Yeah, DM me her Twitch, and then we can go ahead and give her a raid.
I don't know if you've ever interacted with her. She might have left the team. I think she did quit the team by the time like you guys came in.
Yeah.
But she's a really good homie of mine, and yeah, she's also a small streamer slowly getting into things.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead and show her some support, guys. Just if you guys have the cookie emote, spam the cookie emote on here. If not, then just tell her it's nice to be nice, as TCQ says it. But again, appreciate all you guys for stopping by and sticking with us for the whole almost 3 hours.
Greatly appreciated.
But yeah, let's go ahead and just tell her too that she's doing great and go show some support. Remember, guys, nice to be nice. Nice to be nice. Keep that noted. And we're going to be going in and... But again, though, guys, thanks for stopping by. Okay, I'm not doing that.